Oh, and welcome back to Oak City. This is our Plains and Prairies episode number 32. We are here at the end of March, so we did turn around and get in about, ended up probably being close to 3/4, a little over half anyway, of our spring planting last month. So we are full into swing with that. We did get everything else moved around, stocked up and all that, so we are ready just to turn around and finish off our sales. So you can see we have all of our product in there, whether it's from the preserved food factory, dairy, apples, grain, everything is in there. And so we're just going to turn around and sell that off quick and then jump over to April and get on with our finishing up our spring planting is going to be the idea or the plan. Already running and we shut it off anyway. So let's just turn around and run it and sell it. Going to be the idea. So we'll unstrap that. Should be a pretty good payday here. 600 and yeah, little over $700,000, $710,000 or so. Already have stuff stocking up again, at least corn tortillas. Of course, it's about it. We are actually out of corn there, but we have a ton of corn flour in there, so that's still running. Not exactly sure. We do have a little bit of corn stock left, but not sure where we're going to actually put that. So from here, we'll turn around and get this parked up and then head over to the farm and get moved on to April so we can get into the planting there. So here we are, first thing in April, as you can see, 6:05 in the morning, nice and early. Going to turn around and jump into the case here. Do have the new case, the basically the 2550 case on here, so this one is going to be to where we can plant and seed pretty much anything we would want, except a couple of the unique things this one can't do, but other than that, it's going to pretty much take care of most things. So we are going to use it to go out and plant corn, which is what a planter does for you anyway. So we're going to head out to the nearby field here, the big one, and get that started. Currently, this is about the biggest field we have on the farm. So I think we are going to turn around and go ahead and this should give us enough corn, I would think, to run for the year no matter what we do when it comes to land. Ideally, we'd like to turn around and save up the money for that plot and this plot. That would turn around and buy us all of, or the bulk of the main field. So I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do as far as picking up more land. We do want to turn around and get in at least 3 fields this month, and currently we only have 2 properties, so that's kind of going to be at a deal, or become a thing as to how we're going to deal with that for sure. Work the headlands. You might as well start with the headlands. This one we are going to turn around and just set the AI out to go ahead and do this one. We'll turn around and watch it get underway, but we do have at least one more field that we want to get started, and then we have to start solving the problem one way or another of what we want to do with fields. And where we do have a good chunk of money, it would allow us to pick up, I don't know. We have options as far as fields, obviously. We have $2.7 million, so not broke or having a hard time coming up with property. We could turn around. I think we have enough to buy this chunk down here. It's all wilderness property, and I was hoping to buy up most of the field property first, but I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Our goal is to kind of take over the whole thing. So we do have a chunk over here that would go into a field as well, or the chunk down here in the corner. All our options. This one down here in the corner, we could turn around and pick that up for not a crazy price and maybe go ahead and get that started this year. So there we are. Planter is on its way with corn. just going to turn around and kind of look at our burn rates here on the fertilizer and on the seed to make sure we're good. We started with just about 19,000 fertilizer and 20,000 on the corn, neither one full, or on the seed that is. Looks like the seed is going through at a really slow pace, which is exactly what we would expect with corn. And then obviously the fertilizer is going to run down, you know, depending on your ground coverage there. So cruising along pretty good, and I don't anticipate a lot of problems. This kind of a cool field with the hump over there, a little bit of hill that's in the field. That section is definitely kind of fun to work with. Bushes there in the way, but for the most part this is going to be, you know, 100 and I forget what this one comes out to. I know it's over 120 acres. I want to say it's in the, what is it, 150, something like that neighborhood. So it's a decent sized field for sure. Going to take quite a bit of time actually to get it planted. So we're going to turn around and let that one run here, and then I think we'll turn around and get the other planter up to where we can get our next crop in as well. Swinging in here to one of our very original fields. Going to turn around and open this one up. We are going to use the specialty planter here. This one's capable of planting anything. In this case, we are just going to use it with soybeans, but because we're just going to deploy it on the AI, not going to be a lot different going on here. Turn around. I think we might try to set this one to 2 head rows just because maybe it'll stay off of the fence a little more if we turn around and do that, and then we'll just see if it deploys that way. Gonna work out good there. Again, this is our versatile, the 2550, or what we're calling 2550 versatile. Gonna turn around and just be just that, versatile and a whole lot, and do all that. So this one will watch the numbers there. Looks like we're actually going through less fertilizer here than we are seed for sure. Hopefully 20,000 seed is going to be enough to get us through. It does actually look like it's cruising down pretty good, so if there's anything we're going to run out of here, it's going to be seed, because we didn't fill that. Honestly, didn't anticipate it, I guess, burning that much, but that does also leave us to the idea that we have to get in soybean, because the problem with planting the extra cotton field and the oat field for that matter is that we do now need soybean crop area. So I think just based on everything for the value, yeah, I don't know. It's like if we gotta go off the grid, I'd almost just as soon pick up this piece just because it's close to the farm. And honestly, I think we have enough money to turn around and pick up that piece. So yeah, let's turn around. I'm going to take a look at the numbers and see if we have enough actually just to go down and pick that up. Working buttons, that is the tailor shop, so we are going to turn around and come over. We have some sales, which this honestly should be a pretty good size sale, so we are going to turn around and load up all of our sale products and then turn around and get those moved off for the month. As you can see, we have 6 in here. I think we have like 7 more in holding, so it's going to be our clothes sell off for the month, and we're going to really try to move as much off as we can and then see where we can get when it comes to spending as much of that on land as possible and just kind of go for it. So going to turn around and load everything up, and then we'll check back in before the sale there. Alright, we have made our final pickup here, so as you can see, everything kind of just stuck in there. Not as much of some things as normal because it's earlier in the month. Honestly, it's only 6:30, so by noon, stuff like that, we will produce more. Just this is what we have for now, so we're gonna see where we're at with the clothes in there, and the cheese should still be a pretty good sell-off. I don't know that we're going to get to the number that we need to buy the field that I'd like to buy. We'll just have to see when it gets there. You never know. Running that. $981,000. Oh, actually, that may have gotten us there. Wow. All right, that was almost $1 million in a truckload. And honestly, the truck wasn't even stuffed. And that's cool. I mean, we can get almost $1 million in the truck. Yeah, who knew? All right, well, that's a bonus. So that may have actually cleared up the amount that we need now for the land that we want to get. Ooh, better turn off our lights there. We'd hate to have a dead battery. Wink, wink. When we get in next time, let's turn around and take a peek at where we are. Corn here, haul it along. Still plenty to go. That is going to be a giant field there, and you can see the peas going in, but I think we will turn around to get the next field bought. So here we are pulling into the new field we have acquired. As you can see, turn around and bought up this whole section up here. It's going to be, I think it's somewhere over 200 acres. Honestly, didn't even total it all up. That's 80, will be at least 130, 150, 160, call it 170, 180, 90. Yeah, so probably 250 acres. When we get it all put together, turn around and jump in here. Gonna get rid of the fences. I think this, yeah, because we are not gonna want to waste all of that ground, and this fence honestly is just kind of out here into Nowheresville. Could leave that there, but honestly, what's the point? Gonna take that out of there, grab any of the rest of the fences and the trees. Gonna turn around and eat all these so we can keep the you know, it's gonna help our cellulose as much as possible. This stuff certainly goes fast in the bioplastic, so we can take as much timber and wood chips as we can get. So I'm going to turn around and clear these out of here, and then obviously we'll have to get a plow up here and get all that going. This one going to take a hot minute to get, you know, turned over into a field and planted. So we are here about to drop the plow in. Sadly going to turn around and be plowing under all of this canola, which we certainly could put to use when it's ready to go, but canola not ready to harvest for months, even though this canola has been sitting around for quite a while. But we actually are just going to turn around and plow it under and get things moving along. Steering assist, show the lines, absolutely. Down, let's send it. Alright, this is going to get going. This is going to obviously be a time-consuming process. We have a lot of field here to plant, you know, going to be, or to plow. 200, I don't know, my best guess is probably 210 acres, 220, somewhere in that neighborhood. 220, 230 is what I realistically think it comes out at, but it's going to be interesting, and our biggest field for sure. So we did turn around to get the roller out. We have the roller and the planter still working corn there. Have the third, almost all four out right now. I could turn around and grab actually one of the other tractors and bring it up here and have it start plowing some of these fields that have already been created, just because that'll make it so I don't have to absolutely plow under every piece of this ground. So I think that's going to be a thing, because I could save quite a bit of time working on plowing the field. We do need to get the whole thing plowed though, as this field, I don't know if it'll still show. This field, we did turn around and skip this section, as I thought this little square field was plowed, and it turned around that we have some weeds growing in it because it, well, it looked like it was plowed, or it said it was plowed. It's still going to let weeds grow in it. So we are just going to have some weeds in that sunflower field down there. Could turn around and spray it, but honestly, not that worried about it. We have a pretty big field there, and the first year that it's in, not that worried about what's going to happen with the yield there. It should be way more than what we need, to be honest, for the farm. So not really too worried about having to get everything out of the yield on it this year. Okay, here we will turn around and start creating a field, because we are going to go around the corner here. I think we can turn around and bring another plow in here, where we have the fourth tractor, and just save quite a bit of time. So we're going to turn around and get this started here a little bit, and then I will turn around and go grab that other tractor and get that up and running. We definitely want that one. There we go. Good. Let's stroll along the fence here. We are going to get awfully close to the fence line up here. Honestly, not in love with it. Did turn around and think about just giving up some of this field and putting it back, but I think, or moving the fence back. Either way, because I honestly don't like it when they're that close. But we're just gonna run what you brung, if you know what I mean. Alright, now limit that to the field. Let's make sure that we're gonna get all of it out here. Sadly now not gonna get any kind of lane lines in here. Back there creating the field, and then we're just gonna drag this out. I know that we're gonna have some rocks and some other things up in this field. I don't think anything that we're gonna be going around too much, but this field should actually be kind of cool when it's all said and done. And it's gonna be, you know, the biggest, which is always a little bit cool on its own accord. We're just mainly going to follow the fence line up here for the most part. Again, this is not something where we have to turn around and milk every inch out of the field. We have plenty of acres here. We did turn around and pull 80,000 liters of wood chips, which were transferred to the bioplastics facility. So that's going to help that glucose or cellulose acetate. And take a look back there as we're running along the fence. This is where the fence line is going to come to an end. End of the map is actually right there. Did a pretty good job, honestly, if you ask me, with the end of the map. That blends in pretty well. So zero complaints about that one for me, anyway. Dragging the field up all the way. Not really all the way to the top, because we aren't going to go too far past this field, I don't think, for the most part. Those are the rocks that we discovered in the process of clearing trees. So I think we're going to avoid those. Kind of gently steer this over. Hopefully we can get this lined up somewhat close to our target. would certainly be nice. Oh, I think that's a collectible. Alright, let's turn around and limit to the field. Let's see if we can grab that last little, there we go. And then we will jump out here quick and go grab the collectible there. Should be an extra 1,000 in the old bank account. Cannot complain there. 195,000 compared to where we have been lately. It feels like we are absolutely broke, but we still have plenty of field and seed money. Good thing we filled up most of our fertilizer, so we're pretty good there. Yeah, for the most part, that is where we're going to go with it. Turn around and run this down. Obviously, another big rock over here that we're going to encounter. Another big one down in this corner too. But turn around and have a lot of plowing here to do. So just going to keep the plow running, and then we'll just kind of check in as we go. Here we are quite a bit later. We have turned around. We'll take a look at the map here. Have finished plowing in the field here, so there it is, our new largest field yet. It is, I think, let's see, 40, 80, 130, 150, 160, we'll say 170, 190. Yeah, then another, 250 if you look at it all. So by the time we lose, the trim piece, we still have 200 acres of field that we have plowed. We're now liming, as you can see. We are going to bring up the other limer. It's going to take more than one just to get this done. So we'll be bringing up the other lime spreader, getting that in the field, and then we are going to turn around and plant it. Going to get planted in this is going to be soybeans, so that's going to take care of our demand for soybean for sure. Plus soybean is the last of the crops that we actually need, that we are planting this year actually, so that's the last of it. We have started to fertilize fields as all of this is going on. Can turn around and flip to the soil composition there, and we have fertilized the second coat here. This field is done, this field is done. We will turn around and move out to the rest of the fields that we planted last month, and then we'll turn around and get this one finished up. But I think that's going to take in between episodes to turn around and get this done, as it's going to be quite a bit more work and only have so much time at a time. So that's just what that is. And I think for the most part, we're going to call that an end to spring planting. We did turn around and get everything sold off for spring, so now it's just lime here and then fertilizing everything around, and then we are on to the summer months, which should roll along quite a bit faster. But I think for the most part, we are going to call that one a win. Say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.